What's up guys, Clint Coons here, and in this video I want to talk about ways in which you can get paid by the federal government when your tenants aren't paying their rent. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so here's the deal. As you know, we've been going through COVID and there's been a lot of moratoriums out there where tenants have been told they don't need to pay rent to landlords. And that may be great for tenants, but if you're a landlord, that just plain old sucks because you still have mortgages that you have to pay. You still have utility expenses that are going out the door, and you don't have the income coming in from your tenants. And on top of that, you can't evict them. So where does that leave you? Well, the government has stepped up. If you haven't been following the law, back in December, at the end of December, they passed the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Now, what did this do for you as a landlord? Well, basically threw out $25 billion to the states to allow there to be funds made available to help landlords cover the rent. Now, this program is a fabulous way for you, if you haven't been getting paid, to go in, and I'm going to walk you through how to apply for it to get some funds. Because not only does it count going forwards, you can also go back up to a year. Now, not only do we have federal programs, there's many state programs as well. And I'm going to show you a website where you can go to and you can find all of the places within your state that you can apply to get assistance as a landlord to help cover the rent that's not coming in right now. So the money's out there. You just need to know where to look in order to find it. So thankfully, we have that available to us. You just need to know some of the background in order to apply. And it's really not that difficult. So there's really three different criteria in which you would need to, or a tenant would need to be eligible in order to apply for this assistance. Now, the assistance itself will go directly to the landlord. It'll cover rent. As I stated, it could go back 12 months and actually can go forward 3 months. So there's a total of potentially 15 months here of which you can receive compensation. Now, in order to do that, your tenants have to meet one of three criteria. They either have to be unemployed, okay, or they have to experience a reduction in income within their household or significant costs or hardship due to COVID-19. This is the first requirement, one of three. And I think this is the easiest one for every tenant to apply under because everyone has been affected as a result of COVID. Now, if they can't meet that test, you have the second test, which they must demonstrate a risk of experienced homelessness or housing instability. Who knows what that means? Maybe if you were to say that once the moratorium's over on evictions, you plan to evict them. So that would be an opportunity for them to apply for this. And the third one is you have to have a household income at or below 80% of the area for that, the median for that particular area. So one or three would typically qualify most everyone that wants to participate in this program. Now, if you want to go and do that, you're going to have to go to a website first off, and I'm going to bring that up in a moment to show you where to apply. And you're going to actually apply with the tenant, or you can apply for the tenant in many cases. Now, in order to do this, if you want to apply for your tenant because maybe your tenant doesn't have a computer, or they're just not motivated to apply because they're maybe too busy spending money that they've received from the government stimulus that hasn't been going to pay rents. Well, all you can do is, or for them, is you can actually fill out the application. And you must have them sign the application. It can be an electronic signature or it can be a wet signature. On top of that, you have to provide the tenant with a copy of the application. So of course they have to see this. You just can't go out there and start applying for tenants without having their information. Of course, you have to collect information from them. And there are some rules about making sure that that information you collect is protected so that it wouldn't be disseminated to the general public. So watch where you store this information. Don't leave it laying around on a laptop that possibly you take into a repair shop. And third on that, you can apply for rental assistance payments that are awarded from the state or the federal government to the rental obligation of the tenant. So what it means here is that any money you receive, you have to take those funds and it has to be used to cover their rent obligations and their utilities. And depending on the program that you apply for, you'll find that some don't apply for utilities, it's just rent. I found, and others will cover both. But they're great opportunities for you if you're a landlord to go in and take advantage of this. And so also want to say is that when you're making these applications, there is a priority that's given to individuals if there's more than one person in the household that's been unemployed. So if you have people or tenants where there is an unemployed person in there, of course, you want to make note of that on the application so you get priority status. Because again, there's 25 billion, but that can go quickly depending on how many people are applying for this money. Now you're probably wondering, where do I go to find out in my state how I can take advantage of these programs? Well, thankfully, the National Low Income Housing Coalition has put together a very extensive Google Doc sheet. And guys, you can find this in the actual show notes. There's a link to it there where you can go here and you can just scroll down. As you can see, you can look for your particular state here. Here I'm looking at Alabama. They have links to it. They talk about tenant eligibility, what it takes to apply. They've got what you have to prove as well. They've got all this pertinent information so you can delve in here. You can see what the funding amount is they've been allotted, and you can just walk your way through this spreadsheet, and it's going to answer many, if not all of your questions. In fact, they got some other resources here in various tabs down at the bottom. And I would highly encourage you that if you want to take advantage of this program, you utilize this as your first tool to start doing the research. I can't say enough for the fact that they provided all of these links. It makes your job so much easier when it comes to finding assistance, not only for your tenants, but also for yourself. So you can make sure that, all those costs that you have that have been accumulating, the utilities and the unpaid rent, you can finally get paid on that. So hey, the money's out there. Don't sit there and fret about it. You can get paid. You just have to take advantage of it and go out there and make the applications. And so that means having a good rapport with your tenants and explaining to them the benefits of it, that by doing this, it not only makes sure that they're covered, because as you know that in many of these instances, the tenants are still responsible for the rent, even though they haven't had to pay it. And this way, they're going to have that covered. They won't have that ongoing obligation. And as I stated, at the end of the day, you get paid. All right, guys, I hope this was a lot of information you didn't know about before and that you can benefit from this. Hey, if you like this video, make sure you put the like down there. If you haven't, just subscribe. And if you know anybody out there who's a real estate investor, be sure to refer them to the channel to pick up this and all that other great information that I produce on a weekly basis for you. All right, take care, everyone.